You're listening to Community Voice PHL, an award-winning talk show that informs, engages, and inspires. Hey, thanks again for tuning in to another episode of Community Voice PHL Talk Show with your host, Jeff Jones. Community Voice is a talk show that informs, engages, and inspires. We feature amazing people who are doing awesome things all across the nation and right here in the tri-state area so that you can get involved with building caring and prosperous communities. So thanks again. Thanks for tuning in to Community Voice PHL, a show that informs, engages, and inspires. I'm excited to have our guest on today. I'm going to get into that a little bit more, but this is an exciting guest who's going to offer you some deep insights on how you can get involved with building communities in a really innovative way. So I'm excited to have this guest on. But before we get on to the guest, I want to just share with you a little information about an event that's coming up that I believe that can really help out the entire city as a whole. On Thursday, September 25th. I'm rushing because the year is going around, right? But on this upcoming Thursday, September 25th, at Simon Grass High School, the National Center for Urban Solutions will be having a mental health and wellness fair. It'll start at 4:30. So you want to get there early. They're going to be having all type of resources for mental health and wellness, some social service supports, and some other resource and vendors there. It's going to be free food. And I believe they're going to have a Wallow 267 be a keynote and feature a presentation there as well. So you want to get there at Simon Grass High School this Thursday, September 25th, starting at 4:30. You can go to the website of the National Center for Urban Solutions. They're going to be having information where you can register. I think they're, at capacity, but I think also that they're going to, make some extra room for people who really want to take part in that mental health and wellness fair. Again, that'll be this Thursday, September 25th at Simon Grass High School at 4:30. So go to the website of National Center for Urban Solutions to get more information on how you can register, take part, and be well and be whole in that space. They often put on great events all across the city. So this is going to be another one of their marquee events that they're doing to help out people in the city and, try and make sure that they can be in a good space in every regard. So go check them out. Just wanted to share that real quick before we get into our guest. Now, when we talk about making sure that youth have things to do, we often want to make sure we have those right conversations. Oftentimes we look at the news or we see things and we see the ages of people who getting caught up in these situations. And we wonder, what's happening? What really is being done? Is there anything out there for them to be able to get involved with or engage with? Is there opportunities for them to really have the resources and supports that they need? And that becomes a real serious question in our society. A real serious question that begs to be answered. And I know that there are a lot of organizations and individuals who are out there doing the great work. And we give kudos to them and hats off to them. But we want to make sure that all those organizations get the proper notoriety and opportunity to share what they're doing. Because the narrative that's out there that there's not enough resources and there's not enough people who care and there's not enough of whatever is often not the case. And we here at Community Voice want to make sure that that opportunity for those organizations, those individuals are really being able to be heard and seen and supported. So I have a guest on today that'll be coming on in just a few minutes, Israel LaPrince, founder and CEO of Other Options Community Outreach. This is an organization that is by far doing phenomenal things in the community. They are doing things, as I mentioned before, in an innovative space, making sure they capture the essence of what needs to be done to inspire our youth and communities to thrive and not just survive. So I'm excited to bring on to the show today, Israel LaPrince from Other Options Community Outreach. Hey, good brother, how's it going?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Now, I don't know what the technical situation is. Might have to flip the camera on, but we still got you on the audio, so that'll be good either way. There we go.
You got me?
Not yet, but we still got the audio. So while you're working that out, just share with the listening audience a little bit about yourself and about other options, and then we'll get into a good conversation.
Well, hello, everyone. My name is Israel LaPrince. I'm the president of Other Options, born and raised in the city of Philadelphia in the Mount Airy area. At a young age, my friend was gunned down in the streets of um, um, gunned down in the streets, and it had a traumatic effect on my uh, life. That experience kind of left me with a void where I was unable to really compartmentalize um, how to handle that. A few years later, I had the opportunity to join AmeriCorps, which is a domesticated Peace Corps, which was started by former President Bill Clinton. And AmeriCorps was a 10-month program where we volunteered 10 months of service and working in Habitat for Humanity, working with low-income families, building homes. We put up a split rail fence and Bryce Canyon, Utah. We also partnered with South Seattle for crime prevention. And out of that experience of me being in AmeriCorps and my friend being unfortunately gunned down in the streets of Philadelphia, I came up with the theme of other options community outreach. And when I came back from home from AmeriCorps, I began to work in the community. I signed up to be a community person for the 59th Ward. I signed up for the NAACP, and any program where I could be a benefit or a help to the community, I signed up for it. And so out of that came other options, which what we do is we focus on our young people from 8 to 21, and we give them real viable options, such as we took a group of kids to NASA. We took a group of kids to the African American Smithsonian, as well as we just recently did a community day and at the Lonnie Young Rec Center, where we handed out over 175 book bags, material. We ordered 35, 40 pizzas, and we gave it was a completely free event for the people in the city.
Wow. That's amazing. And how long have you been doing this with Other Options? Remind me again.
Since 2020.
Since 2020. Wow, you made such great progress and great strides in that space. Real quick for your camera, do you have one of those options at the top of your laptop where you can slide the camera open? Because it may be one of those situations, because we can hear you real good. But as you're doing that, when you talk about starting this program, I know you gave the background of that, but what was your initial passion for yourself, saying, I've got to make this difference? I mean, what drove you to that? Was it something, of course you mentioned the situation with your friend. Was there something that drove you even beyond that? Not saying that wasn't significant enough. Was there something that was like, I'm going to do this anyway?
Well, the situation with my friend, and in addition to the fact, here we go.
There we go.
My friend being gunned down in the streets had a devastating effect on me. And when I joined AmeriCorps I talk about like it was yesterday, from 96 to 99, I really got a real sense of community and giving back to my community and realizing how one person can have a real positive impact. And so those two factors was like the main driving force in me giving back and to my community.
So when you're talking about giving back to the community, because a lot of people do the work, right? And a lot of people do the work in a great capacity similar to you. What are some of your key tenets, if you will? Like, giving back to community means what 3 things to you? Is there 3 things that you kind of lean on in terms of giving back to the community? Because sometimes people give back to the community. It's not really from an altruistic standpoint. It's from a self-grandizing view. So what is your 3 things that say, I'm giving back to the community because of?
Well, an additional thing that took place was with AmeriCorps. After AmeriCorps, I had to come home and get a job. I can't volunteer forever. I started with the bank in 1999, and I understood by me working at the bank and able to build my credit, and I understood how important it was for people to have good credit, to learn about what lending opportunities there was, to learn about the different checking accounts that you could have that pay you interest or high yield interest accounts. So one of the things is that other options takes on is financial literacy.
Okay.
I partnered with Wistas Bank at the corporate office downtown at 1818 Market Street. And we had a group of kids come down there and we went over a complete financial seminar with the young people, not only just savings, checking and savings accounts, but we got into 401ks, money market accounts. And it was very beneficial for the young people to be able to see that up close. And we had multiple representatives from the bank to talk about it, as well as I just recently completed a first-time home buyers, because you don't know what you don't know, right? Because there's a lot of programs out here. There's a lot of initiatives out here. And with Bank of America, the first-time home buyers gave an opportunity for people to get from $27,000 to $30,000 as a down payment on their first home if it was your first home. So that turned out to be a massive success. There's a couple of people that was able to get their first home, live in it. I was contacted, and it's nothing like purchasing your first home and getting your keys after you sign your life away.
I'm telling you, yeah.
It was a real game changer. So financial literacy, letting the young people know that you have viable options. You don't have to succumb to what's going on in your neighborhood, what's going on in your home, or what's going on at your school. You can be anything that you want to be in this life.
So when you talk, and I like the way you broke that down, because that's not just for the youth, right? That's for the adults in the family and the community, because that ownership, that home ownership, that's a beautiful thing, man. And kudos to you for getting that, first-time homeowners plan and having someone benefit from that. So when you talk about other options, as you mentioned, there's different pathways that society kind of, in some ways steer our children to, either entertainment or sports. And there's nothing wrong with that, because some of our youth are really going to be gifted in those spaces. But when you talk about other options, what are some of the things? I know you mentioned NASA, which is NASA. I meant NASA. That's phenomenal. So what are some of the other things you're giving them options and exposure to?
Yeah. So just to speak a little bit about NASA, the NASA trip, we got a group of kids from the city, and we went, and we actually had the opportunity to get in a spacecraft.
Oh, wow.
And to get in a simulator.
Wow.
And out of that trip came a lot of young people interested in aviation and becoming pilots and working at NASA. And I will tell you this one story. The young man, he was a good kid, but he was unsure about what path he wanted to take.
Right.
He called his mother on FaceTime, and he shared with me that this is the beginning of his turnaround. He didn't think it was possible for him to go to NASA. And we went to the Smithsonian, to NASA, and it was a game-changing experience for him that he did not think was possible. And so it's not only NASA, but you also got to know your history. So when we went to the African American Smithsonian, we went and got to see so many different Black pioneers who really built and shaped what America is today. Yeah. And it gave the real cover story, and you left out of there with a sense of pride in who you are and where you came from. And they covered music, science, engineering, mathematics, religion. They covered all aspects of different Black pioneers. And so when I'm saying other options, you can be whatever it is that you desire to be, and you're not limited to your area.
Yeah, and see that's the reason why I resonate so much with your program, because those other options that are out there can go into so many different capacities. And that story you shared was very impactful, because that young person said, "This is my turnaround." One of the things I often share when I do youth mentoring, expose them to different places, different people, different opportunities.
Absolutely.
When you give them those 3 layers of exposure, then like that young person you talk to, it changes their whole perspective. now they want to pursue something. Now they see something. And it's one expression I often say, sometimes some people don't know no further south than South Philly and no further north than North Philly, right?
Yes.
And when you get them in that different atmosphere, talk about the magic of that. When you take a group of youth somewhere, that may at the beginning they may be like, I don't want to go there, I don't want to go there. But then when they get there, that light comes on. Talk about an experience like that. I know you talked about NASA, but is there any other experience, that can be talked about in terms of when you saw a light come on for the young person?
Well, you know what? I'll use myself for an example. I'm born and raised in the city of Philadelphia, and I had not had the opportunity to travel in an internationally or national as outside of the tri-state area, I'll say. And when I had the opportunity to be a part of AmeriCorps, I went from Mount Airy to San Diego, California.
Oh wow,
that was a game changer.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You didn't have to have a lot of money. You can go and watch the sunset in Southern California. That was kind of like a big deal. And we went from San Diego, California to Seattle, Washington. So I was at Seattle, Washington. We went to the Space Needle. We set up a crime prevention. I also went to Pocatello, Idaho. I had never anticipated going to Pocatello, Idaho, but I ended up there in the
I'm sure it's a story right there, I tell you.
And so when I had these experiences, I realized that there are different levels of life, different ways of doing things. I was working with other people who had the volunteer bug and who was bit by that bug, where they take pride in it, a sense of rejuvenation and serving their community. So I am the example as the president of other options, because I left one environment and came into another environment where I thrived. I ended up, as soon as I got there, becoming a master of ceremonies. We had a talent show, and I was able to display my talents and my skill set, and I built long-term friendships, long-term partnerships while I was there. And so I knew what the exposure did for me. Hence, I knew what the exposure would do for somebody else. So I'm going to take my experience, and I don't want to just double down. I want to do it 1,000 times for 1,000 different individuals, where they can see that anything is possible. I did not necessarily go to school to be a community advocate or organizer. It's something that I took pride in. I went down to City Hall. I signed up to be a committee person. A partner. I since have been recognized by the president of City Council for the work that I do by President Kenyatta Johnson, for the work that I do in the community. I'm at multiple town hall meetings, different meetings. So I am in relationship with the powers that be in the city of Philadelphia. And my last function, the fire station Engine 19 came out to my community day.
Oh, wow.
And once they came out to the community day, we had kids leaving saying they want to be firefighters. And and the truck was only there for like an hour or two, but that brief experience can last a lifetime. And when you pour into a young person, you have no idea how important and how vital that is to their survival. It's just that quick spark that's going to keep them motivated. And right now we're currently, I don't know if I'm jumping ahead, we're getting ready to plan a massive college tour. We're going to do a local one, but we're also going to do one in DC and one in Atlanta. And that's going to be 2026, somewhere around August 21st. So we're working on some major things.
So talk about that part of it, because as you were talking about, the different community-based industries, the law enforcement, the fire persons, and now you talked about your connection with City Council. Talk about that educational exposure part where, and I'm sure you've probably already done it, taking youth to, colleges, not just locally, but out of state, and get them that exposure and get them to realize that, maybe some who want to fence about college, maybe didn't think college was for them. And you take them there, and now they're getting other options of what they could do for life. So talk about the importance of this upcoming college tour that you're putting together. I think it's fantastic.
Well, everybody, sometimes the hang up for college is you may not have the financial resources.
Mm-hmm.
So my vision is for me to not only take them on a college tour, but put them in a room with people who have scholarships and grant money and funding, and I'll have financial advisors there, people who can give them where they can get financial aid. It's going to be a complete seminar. It's not going to be a one-day thing where you're going to, any question that you might have, I'm going to have enough professionals there that's going to be able to answer all of your questions. And just being able to sometimes just get out of your city is a win by itself. You know, sometimes, like you said, you don't go no further north than North Philly and no further south than South Philly. And so you go to DC, which is currently going through some challenges, but by the time we get there, I'm anticipating things should go restore back to order.
Right.
And even if you don't go, you're going to have the opportunity. You're going to have the information. You're going to have the connections. You're going to have the resources for you to go. And I'm not limiting it to just a college tour, because we're going to do a trade school tournament and travel for our young people as well. So we're going to be able to do that as well.
So when you talk about the other options, you just made me think, with the resources that you have, you're creating other options on both sides. And what I mean by that is you're bringing the exposure of other options to the youth that you're working with, and also the organizations that you're bringing in. You're bringing them other options of people who can be the next generation of their leaders and their advocates and their representatives. So talk about that dual other options. Have you ever thought about it from that aspect? Because when you were just sharing, I was like, wow, that's other options on both sides. Have you ever thought about it like that?
Yeah. So my thinking is you want to get to the youth early and give them that spark early. And you can be a young adult anywhere from 18 to 24, because that's the group that I'm looking to take.
Okay.
And you might not have it figured out. I'm 47, and I don't always think that I have it figured out. But I know that I can be of help and of service to the future generations. And it is not, I do not find just satisfaction in me, my wife, and my 2 kids. Oh, we're good. No, my job, I feel an obligation. I have a strong calling for me to make sure that my community at large is good. It's bigger than just me and my family. If I can bring any resource or any help or any form of education or knowledge or connection for any individual, I'm going to show up. That's my calling.
And I mean, you're doing your calling well, man. You're honoring it in every space. So as we begin to wrap up this segment, is there anything specific that's coming up with other options that you would like to share with our viewers and listening audience that you would like their support for? And how can they catch up to you and get in contact with you to support you in your great work?
Absolutely. So there, in the future, what we're looking to do, last year we partnered with Operation Turkey on Thanksgiving, and we gave out 2,500 meals to the people in the city of Philadelphia, the different counties, and I was partnered with Operation Turkey. It was a successful event. We're going to be doing that this year as well, and we're also going to be doing a coat drive in November as well. And in 2026, August, we're going to be doing our college tour. So we're getting people signed up now. We're getting people registered now. And they can reach me. They can contact me via my email at otheroptions.outreach@gmail.com. They can contact me via my Instagram at otheroptionsoutreach, or they can contact me via my cell phone. Yes, this is my real number, 267-971-3753. Or you can go to my website at otheroptionsoutreach.org.
Wow, that's great. So we'll have all that in the show notes, so those who are looking to support and follow and get the information that was mentioned can be able to do so. So thanks for sharing all that information. We really want to just, again, give you kudos for the great work that you're doing with Other Options. And make sure that every time you're doing something, let us know at Community Voice, so we can share it on the airways, so that people can continue to know about your great work. Seems like you're already nationally recognized with all the kudos and all the citations you're getting. So I don't know if being on this show is going to help you any, but
No. I'm sure it's going to help. Channel 10 News came out to support other options on a community day, which was on August the 29th. So the news came out, they did a cover story. I kind of got cut off, but with your podcast, which is very useful and helpful, I was able to really get into detail. So I thank you for the opportunity to even come on to your platform and to speak. And I look forward to partnering in the near future with you and anybody who wants to be a part of really turning around for our city. We have a beautiful city. This is a beautiful community. And I don't want the fake news to overtake what's going on in the city of Philadelphia. There are some real positive people in our area who is doing positive work that's not really making the news. They're not drawing a lot of attention, but it's people like yourself with these platforms that are bringing a light to what's really going on in our city. There's a few knuckleheads, maybe 10%, but 90% of the people in the city of Philadelphia are doing the right things with the right people at the right time.
And that's for sure. And that's just the key thing about Community Voice. And thank you for your kind words. And we will always partner with you. So again, if you're doing anything, let us know. We can promote it. And we look forward to having you back on as a future guest, maybe even a little bit before your August school tour, just to let people know what you're doing and how they can keep up with you. Because as you mentioned, just being able to have a platform to share in detail is what people need to hear. Because I'm sure at the other news station you were on, and no slight for them, they did what was right and proper. But you need opportunity such as this to share in full detail what you're doing. And we always going to be here for you, because that's what Community Voice is about: uplifting and inspiring and engaging in these type of conversations. So we are excited to have you on the show. Look forward to partnering with you in the near future. And again, don't be a stranger. If you see us out and about, just say hey, and just remember us as you get big time, because I know you're going to be blowing up big time pretty soon. So don't forget us little people. Be like, oh yeah, I remember I was on your little old show one time.
No, it ain't no little old show. And I will tell you this, there is other option material. We have other options, hats.
Yeah.
We're going to have them put on this. I have one. I'm rocking one right now. We're going to have the other option suit is coming out, as well as I have my other options business card. Other options sneakers. It's going to turn into a real thing. And I don't want to get off before I mention. I don't know where I got myself. Before I get off, I have to mention the main supporters. You still got me?
Yeah, you're still here.
For my program, I want to give a special shout out to my wife, Antoinette LaPrince, and a special shout out to my friend / cousin / family member, Anya Best and David Best Jr., because anytime you're doing anything community, you need help. And I want to give a shout out to my father as well, who's no longer with me, because every good idea that I ever received, I saw him do it first. My father and my mother. So I want to shout all those individuals out who helped shape me to be the man that I am today.
And kudos to them as well. And thank you for giving them the shout out, because ultimately the foundation is laid in very capacities, and the branches and tentacles of that success broadens itself out. As you mentioned, your mother and your father laid that foundation, and your wife is part of the tentacles of the branches of that success. And so too are the other people that you mentioned. And that's what community is about, though, right? It's not just about the individual who people may see as the front facing, but it's also about who was there to lay that solid foundation and laid you to be at the position that you're at now. So thank you for that. Thank you for being on the show. So we're about to wrap up for this evening. Let me give you one quick second to share one inspiration or one motivating quote that you might have that we can leave with our viewers and listeners, and then we're going to sign off and wrap up for this evening.
Thank you so much. I will say this. Your life is your own. Take charge and prosper. It's yours. Nobody gets to dictate it. Nobody gets to tell you what you can be, who you can become, what your possibilities are. It belongs to you. Take charge and move in your calling.
There you go. That's Israel LaPrince, the main man in the city, I'm gonna call him now, for outreach, other options outreach. So thank you for being on Community Voice, and thank you all for listening. This is Jeff Jones, and remember, if it's happening in your community, we need to hear your voice. Peace, and we are out.
Peace. Thank you so much, Jeff.
You're welcome.
Okay.